Hey guys, I'm Aaron from Finctum Languages, and this video is going to be a comparison between Duolingo and LingQ, and it's going to be a discussion about which one is better for learning languages. Now, right up front, if you don't have time for any of the details of this video, I'm just going to tell you LingQ is better. But of course, it's not that simple because there is a place for Duolingo, and there are some things that Duolingo does better than LingQ. And really, it's hard to even make a comparison between these two platforms because they're so different. They don't even try to do the same thing. So in this video, I'm going to try to give you a clear idea of how to use both of these language learning platforms to maximize your language learning efficiency. So if you're learning a language and you want to see more videos on how to learn a language effectively, be sure to subscribe to this channel and click the little bell icon to get more videos about language learning every week. And if you're not already familiar with Duolingo or LingQ, you can watch the videos that I made explaining these two platforms individually. So from this point, I'll just assume that you already know what LingQ and Duolingo are. And the reason that I'm saying LingQ is better is because you can use LingQ to actually learn a language. Duolingo is only designed to teach you how to translate a set of prefabricated phrases from your native language into your target language, many of which are often oddly specific to situations you'll probably never run into organically in a conversation with a native speaker. Just do a Google search for strange Duolingo sentences and you'll see. Now, the strangeness of the sentences in Duolingo doesn't bother me that much. My main concern is that the whole focus of Duolingo is translating from your native language. I don't love that approach because you really don't want to be filtering your target language through your native language every time you have a conversation. You can end up saying some really strange things that way. Of course, you'll probably use translations from your native language on LingQ too. I certainly do. I guess you could theoretically just create links using definitions in only your target language, but I don't see any need to do that. The big difference here is that translating from your native language is the main focus of Duolingo, while on LingQ it exists, but it's just a gateway to getting you to read and listen to authentic content solely in your target language. So your native language is like training wheels, and as you progress through LingQ, you learn to rely on it less and less. To their credit, Duolingo has started adding some simple stories and podcasts to their platform as side lessons, and I think this is even more interesting and helpful than the main lessons because it does rely solely on the target language. Unfortunately, these stories only exist in 4 languages right now, but hopefully they'll keep expanding and increasing this portion of their app because that will make it a lot more useful. And who knows, maybe if they keep going in this direction, someday I'll think Duolingo is better than LingQ. Another reason I think LingQ is better is because it's scalable, while Duolingo currently is not. What I mean by that is when you reach the end of your Duolingo tree, there's nothing else you can do. You're done. And by now, you're probably bored of translating all these dumb sentences, and you definitely are not fluent in your target language. At least not if Duolingo is the only method you've been using to learn. LingQ, on the other hand, is something you'll never grow out of. You can always find new books, articles, and podcasts in your target language, and you'll never get bored because you can look for content that interests you. I really like reading fantasy novels in Spanish, but if you prefer history books, fashion blogs, cookbooks, song lyrics, or news articles, you'll be able to find something to import into LingQ that will be able to hold your interest, and it doesn't feel like studying. So now that I'm done beating up all over Duolingo, there are some ways that Duolingo outshines LingQ. Although right now, the only way I think this is true is if you're a fairly new beginner to your language, say maybe an A1 or A2. You can see on my own Duolingo accounts that I have never reached more than 7,000 XP in any language I've studied. Why is that? Because I quit using it once I've learned enough to practice my language in more effective ways. But during those first few months, when I don't know enough to say anything, Duolingo can be a really useful primer. It helps me dip my toes in the language in a way that's not intimidating. It's fun, it builds off things that I've already learned, and I can commit to doing 3 or 4 lessons a day without feeling overburdened. It's really accessible, and it lets you jump right into starting your new language right away. LingQ is less accessible up front. It looks a little bit intimidating to the absolute beginner, and the interface isn't quite as simple as Duolingo. There's a number of features you might not understand, and at first you're swimming in a sea of blue, unknown words, even if you start with the level 1 mini-stories. But that's why I think Duolingo and LingQ complement each other so well. Right around the time where Duolingo starts to get boring and useless, that's when you're getting to the level where LingQ isn't quite as intimidating. By that time, you know most of the words that you're going to encounter on LingQ, and Duolingo has already exposed you to a lot of grammatical structures that looked so foreign at first. So that's when you make the switch from translating strange sentences on Duolingo, like, "My hovercraft is full of eels," to reading short books that you actually enjoy on LingQ. Now, both LingQ and Duolingo have a few additional features that I want to mention, like their message boards and the ability to ask an expert about something you're encountering in your lessons. I don't use these features a ton, but if you like that, then it's a bonus. Both of these apps make use of what we call gamification, which uses your competitive nature in order to motivate you to study a little bit more often. Duolingo has basically structured their whole platform around this, and in my opinion, it works decently well to motivate me to study a little bit every day. The competition of earning more XP and advancing to the next league and wanting to stay ahead of your friends is enough to at least remind me to use Duolingo every day, even when I don't feel like it. But it doesn't get in the way or make me forget that the actual goal is to improve in my target language. LingQ also incorporates some gamification and challenges in their platform, but I've never really found myself paying too much attention to it, so that aspect of LingQ is just sort of a non-issue that I don't really see as a huge positive or negative. Now, as far as extra features that I think are actually really important, there's 3 things I want to talk about. And in my opinion, all 3 of these give LingQ a slight advantage over Duolingo. And those 3 things are the tutoring system, the SRS system, and the playlist function. The playlist function on LingQ is really nice because I can use passive study time to review what I've actively studied. So after going through a lesson in detail, I can review it again while I'm driving in the car or doing dishes by listening to the audio. Duolingo has nothing comparable to this. As far as tutoring, I've always used italki, so I can't talk too much about the LingQ tutoring system, but I imagine the two are pretty comparable, and my experience on italki has always been really helpful. Now, if you're not familiar with SRS, that stands for Spaced Repetition System. And it's normally some form of online flashcards that remind you of a word that you're studying right around the time that you would usually forget it. I actually prefer Anki or Memrise over LingQ's SRS system, but the one thing I really like about LingQ's SRS is that it automatically connects with the words you're already encountering in your lessons on LingQ. And that makes it really valuable to me because I'm coming into contact with these words systematically in the SRS and also in context when I run into them in my reading and listening lessons. Duolingo also had a spaced repetition system called Tiny Cards, but that's going away and there's no guarantee they'll replace it with anything. Although they have hinted that they might incorporate some of its functionality directly into Duolingo itself. And if that's done right, it could be a huge plus for Duolingo because, again, if Duolingo keeps heading in the right direction, they could eventually become my favorite language learning platform. Now, Duolingo and LingQ both have free and paid versions, and I find them to be polar opposites of each other. The free version of Duolingo has everything I need it for, and the free version of LingQ sucks. But paying for Duolingo is just throwing away your money, while paying for LingQ is an investment in your language learning future. They also both have a website and a mobile app, and I've used all 4 of those. And I don't really see a huge difference between the mobile or the web-based versions of LingQ, but I find the mobile version to be a little bit more convenient for me because I can take it more places and I can listen to the playlist while I'm in the car. I do prefer the website version of Duolingo because it doesn't use their heart system. And they have some grammar notes on the website that they don't have on the app, which can be nice, but again, the mobile app is just more convenient, so I use that quite a bit too. And finally, if you're already thinking you might want to subscribe to LingQ, you can follow the URL here for a discount. If you subscribe using that link, you'll save 35% and a small portion will come back to support my channel. So I hope this video has helped you figure out how you can fit LingQ and Duolingo into your language learning repertoire. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.